Everybody, this is Flint from Flint and Steel Survival, and today I'm bringing you a video response for a good friend of mine. And I'm sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. It's going to be Chad the Fatman. He's a great guy, a great YouTuber. He puts out some hilarious videos. His are some of the best videos out on YouTube, in my opinion, because he's himself, he's funny, and he tells it like it is, and you gotta respect that. Now, he wants to know about our favorite weapons. And as a knife guy, my first thought is knives, but I'm going to try to branch out a little bit on that too. So first off, a weapon to me is different than a tool. For me, a weapon is something meant to kill, whereas a tool is meant for utility. And the two can be interchangeable, but the purpose behind things I've bought over the years is utility or weapon. So this is a custom built knife by a guy right here in Utah named Robert Karchner. Great guy, olive wood handle, mosaic pins, super tanto blade. I mean, it's almost a chisel ground, but this thing is razor blade sharp, stupid sharp, honestly. The only problem with this as a weapon is it's going to slide up in your hand. It's so smooth. So you're going to have to reverse grip it with a thumb here and go in for a stab, a slice, or a punch. That's the main reason most fighting knife experts will say that you hold your fighting knife like this. So if you put that thumb there and don't let it go, it's never going to slide up onto the blade unless you put some serious force in there. Oh, and ignore my dirty hands. I had to work on machine repairs today. Our guy's out, so I'm filling in for him. But olive wood, Damascus steel. Super deal on this because the idiot engraver stamped his name on the blade portion instead of along the spine. So he gave this to me for 50 bucks. Came with an alligator skin sheath that his son made personally. I think it's fake alligator, but you know, it feels like it, so I like it. But Tonto blades to me are only meant for a weapon. They're not a good utility edge. This is my Ontario Blackbird, USA made. My Carta handle, solid in your hand. This thing is definitely my most comfortable knife. I've used it a little bit now. Been striking ferro rod on the back, chipping off some of this coating. This is my workhorse of a knife. This is the knife I'm going to take out in the field 99.99% of the time. And honestly, it's because I want to keep this Essie good. But would this be the first knife I would grab in case of, you know, self-defense? Absolutely not. It's a great utility knife, serves its purpose, but there are more lethal blades than this. Next up, we'll get my Essie out of the way. Very hard use this weekend. Man, this thing kicked major butt. This came in its Kydex sheath. That's still what I use. It's the most rugged, but I lost a screw this weekend carrying it around, so I'm going to have to fix that. Made this whole thing real loose. So before I carry that too much farther again, I'm going to have to get a new screw for that back plate. I kept the washer, though, stuck in there. But this knife, great chopper. Would it kill somebody if you wanted it to? Absolutely. Great glass punch. But this was meant as a utility knife. I bought this to take it out in the woods and play with. Whereas these two knives, and the last one I showed you, are full self-defense knives, in my opinion. Even the makers of this one would tell you that's what it's meant for. This is the Gerber Warrant. I keep wanting to say that. It might not be right. Anyway, it's a Gerber knife. Portland, Oregon, USA, so USA made. You'll notice that all three of my self-defense knives are US made, and that's because I started to smarten up. And so are the two other fixed blades I showed you. To me, there's no better country in this world than America, and I want to support the people that are here making us tax money and, you know, that are here. I want to support that. So lately I've been really focused on buying USA made blades at, you know, places that are in the US. Blade HQ, Blade Ops, pawn shops, you know, I guess we can count that, but this is a US product, so I'm putting money back in the economy by showing, you know, I want US products. So maybe, just maybe, showing this to you, one of you guys goes out and buys it. This was already bought by somebody, obviously, supporting the company, but Maybe it inspires one of you guys to go out and get it. I'm telling you what, this is a nice blade. But this would be a self-defense knife for me. Its specific purpose is tactical. You know, they built this kind of knife for soldiers overseas. That's why it's got all this MOLLE gear. I know it's tactical, but I could definitely see this going into Afghanistan and protecting a soldier's life. Very comfortable, very good length. These are exactly the same length. I even measured them out now. 100% the same, other than the glass breaker sticks out on this one. But, tell you what, this is the perfect size for a self-defense blade. Easily concealable if you want it to be, and very easy to strap onto gear. Both of these are MOLLE compatible. This one's got one solid MOLLE strip. This one's got that belt strip I showed you in the last video, and a MOLLE section. But both of those would be easy to clip onto some soldier's gear, MOLLE gear, or if I made a different sheath for either one of these, I could conceal it very easily and make it a self-defense blade. I wouldn't really want either of these for utility. Tonto blades do not make the best utility edge. Great for opening boxes and light work, but as soon as you want to start getting down and dirty with them, they're not the best. I would choose a spear point, clip point, kind of like those any day of the week. So these would be, those are my 5 favorite knives that I own, fixed blade wise. Some of my folders are nice, but as a weapon, and keeping that in mind, that my definition of a weapon is meant for killing, whereas a tool is for utility. If I put myself in a weapons frame of mind, that's going to be it. The next thing would be for hunting small game and putting food on the table. This is a homemade slingshot. My stepfather-in-law made it for me for Christmas. It's got black solid epoxy on it. It was made out of one solid piece of wood. He glues them together. He shaped it for me. He took my hand trace and shaped it so it fit me perfectly. This is just surgical band on it right now, but I tell you what, this thing is accurate. If you look, this is how you're supposed to hold it. Top and bottom finger around it like that. The rest of these go around, fit perfectly into the grooves he carved. Then you're going to load your ammo into the cradle, pull it back, and fire. But this thing is deadly accurate. I shoot glass marbles out of it, just standard size glass marbles. You can get a sack of those at the dollar store for $1. Here's the ammo bag I made. I've made 2. One of them has silver marbles in it, and they're not full size. These are the bigger ammo. The smaller ammo's in there. It just depends on what I want to carry. My other pouch has a belt loop, and it's a fold-over bag, and it's got a deer antler button on it. But this is more of my pack bag if I'm going to take these 2 out together, because it ties up really tight, so I don't have to worry about, you know, marbles falling out. But if I'm loading up a belt kit with this, I'll put this in a pouch that I have, and then my other bag on the belt with it. So those are 2 different weapons, and my new passion, take you guys out of the window still, unplug you, is archery. So this is my Fleetwood Sage. It's a long bow, recurve bow, sorry, it's not a long bow. Recurve, beautiful woodwork. It's down right now. You know, you never keep a bow strung that's a recurve, or else well, any bow really, except compound, because you'll wear out the limbs and make them not as strong. This one right here is a 50 pound. It's one of the smaller pound weights, but I tell you what, when you're shooting this thing multiple times, you notice real quick. I was going to get a bigger poundage, but the guy talked me out of it. The guy at the sports store was a competition archer for a very long time, so I trusted his word. We went back and shot it, and I'm definitely glad I picked the 50. So they had a practice range. That's really the only time I've gotten this out of the box, because honestly, it's too pretty. It scares me to use, but I'm going to go deer hunting next year with it. I want to get my skills up first, so definitely before archery season this year, I'm going to go with some of my friends who are going archery hunting, go practice up with their targets, hang out with them. The arrows I'm shooting through it are Expedition Hunters. These are gold tip, smart carbon technology for the shafts. Flex it first, So definitely read your safety instructions on arrows, especially if you're new to this. I've shot bows as a kid a lot, but I've never really had an adult bow. Grains per inch, 8.2, and these are real feather-fletched arrows, which are required for the setup I have on here. That's just one leather pad. Rubber rips up the leather and the fletchings, and these are meant for that setup. So should I show you that? Practice tips on it now. I got some broadheads in the closet. But for this kind of setup, you want a 2-blade broadhead, or else you might end up scratching your wood, scratching the leather when you draw back. And these arrows have all been cut for my length, so as tall as I am, you barely had to cut any off. But my full draw, this is perfect for me. So if I have a 2-blade broadhead, it's going to sit right where this is. Next is my improvised bow. I've had this for a couple years now. I always leave it strung. All it is PVC pipe, a PVC pipe blank connector, so you can screw a piece into here and then it just literally clips on. And then I got some hockey grip tape. This is probably a 40-pound draw. I mean, it's pretty tough to draw back. I made a couple arrows for it. Here's my legitimate arrow, duct tape fletchings, smaller, fits my draw really good. Hand sharpen the tip, and then I made a bunch of these dowel arrows without fletchings, and honestly those are what I prefer. They're heavier. They come out of the bow with a lot more trajectory, or a lot straighter trajectory, and has a lot of weight behind it really. I've shot these into some targets before in my house. My wife probably doesn't like that very much. I've never missed anything though and put it through the wall, so that's good news. I would never shoot this inside because it would go straight through my wall and visit the neighbors, so this one's pretty, it stops. I like to shoot it into a competition dartboard, you know, like the particle board or whatever. I think mine's actually wrapped paper, so it's one of the cheaper ones. But bows are my favorite weapon to hunt with because the skill it involves. So I really need to get out there and do it. Archery is hard just standing shooting at a target. I don't know if there's any archery pros out there, but I really respect what you guys do. So that's my favorite weapon. Runner-up for hunting and such for small game would be this. And my, of course, obsession is knives. And then, of course, I love my guns, but for just skill and fun involved, knives, slingshot, archery. And here is the Fatman's giveaway. Had to save it so I remember to do it, but please go check out the Fatman. He really deserves more than he's got. And I know 1,000 seems like a lot, but he definitely could get a lot more. He's probably one of my favorite channels on YouTube. So please go check him out if you haven't already. He's a great guy. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.